Hi, and welcome back to another AnyRPG Development Livestream. In these videos, I livestream the development of the AnyRPG Engine, a 100% free and open source role-playing game engine designed in Unity and written in C#. These videos are unscripted and give you a chance to take a behind-the-scenes look at the unfiltered, methodical side of software development. For more information on AnyRPG, be sure to check out AnyRPG.org, where you can find documentation on the engine, links to the full source code at the official GitHub repository, and downloadable versions of AnyRPG Alpha, a free game designed to showcase the features of the AnyRPG engine. If you'd like to see more of this type of content in the future, be sure to like the videos, subscribe to the Cohesion YouTube channel, or just leave a message in the comments telling me what you would like to see. In today's episode, we will be testing the import of the Unity package that we created in the last episode, and maybe making some final tweaks and modifications to it before we are able to submit it to the Unity Asset Store for people to download. So to do that, we'll just start as if we're somebody who's just downloaded the thing. So we'll go to Unity. We will we will click on New to make a new project. It's going to be a 3D project. The project name will be AnyRPG Import, and the location is fine. That's where I have all my Unity projects. So we'll click Create and let Unity create the new project. Okay, good. Now we've got a new project, and by default it's going to open the sample or create like a sample scene for us right here and put us in that scene. We don't need it, but it's not good to delete objects that are open, and you can't like not have a scene open in Unity. So we will start the import of the new package, and we'll go to import package, custom package, and this is our AnyRPG Engine 0.6a Unity package. So we'll just click on open and then let Unity import it. This package is 460 megabytes. It includes UMA and would probably be like really tiny without UMA. I'm not sure, maybe like 50 megabytes or something like that. But I haven't tested yet including it separately and then like requiring people to download UMA. For now, it just basically includes it. So looking through the list, that all looks good. We've got everything public domain stuff for the Carnegie Mellon animations, the bamboo fishing rod and the pig model, which we've credited, the UMA stuff, all of the code in our engine, the examples, the standard assets it depended on, and the full UMA folder. So we will import everything here. So we'll just let Unity go through and do all that. And then let's see if we get any errors. Okay, and still importing Okay, yeah, that's not bad. I'm not like resource constrained or anything like that. I've actually got like 2 copies of Unity running and I'm still less than half my memory usage. CPU usage looks okay. I guess this just takes a while, no matter how fast your computer is. One of the things I did specifically when I made this project is make sure that I put it on an SSD drive, just to hopefully keep things quick, or as quick as possible. Okay, so yeah, still waiting for the import. Well, I guess this takes a while no matter. Yeah, it definitely takes a while no matter how fast your computer is. This seems like one of those things where they could totally benefit from multi-threading. If my CPU usage is only at 30%, then it's definitely underutilized, and it seems to me like you should be able to import multiple assets simultaneously. Okay, good. So let's go to our console here, and that's good news. We don't have any error messages. So now what we can do is go into the example directory, into scenes, and look at the example load game manager. Double click on that to load it up. Then we can go into the regular scenes directory and delete that sample scene because that was the one Unity created. It wasn't part of our package. And finally, let's hit play and see what happens. Okay, scene main menu couldn't be loaded because it hasn't been added to the build settings, where the asset bundle has not been loaded. Interesting. Is there a way to not have to go add all the scenes? I think this is actually an opportunity for Googling. Let's see, Unity, add scenes to build settings on package import. Is that a thing? Or you can drag scenes. Okay, well that's good. But how do I export build settings with a Unity package? Yeah, that's what we want. Don't export as Unity package, rather enable invisible meta files in the editor settings. Well, that's not really what I want to do. Okay. And that guy on the forum had a really good question, like, how do I use this? What do I do? Export package options, but that's his like scripting API. Like, it's not going to be. So let's see. If I go file, yeah, there were no. Let's see. Export package. Are there options there? I didn't see any options. No, there were no options on this page. And apparently I can't close that. Apparently it wants to just freeze up. So let's go back and look at that some more. I'm going to rate this page 1 star. And I'm going to report a problem on this page. This page needs code samples. Yeah, no kidding. Okay. So, good. And unfortunately, it looks like there really isn't any information on how to use that particular option in Unity. So let's see, exporting. Okay, there's nothing in here about changing export settings at all. I don't know if like that information just doesn't exist, or they just chose not to publish it, or it's like hidden somewhere else on their site. So I think for now, maybe I'll have to go research this offline and see where I'm supposed to put this, basically. What's going on here? I guess this other copy of Unity is still frozen up trying to find dependencies. Okay. So let's, I guess we have no choice but to pull these into the build settings. So if I go build settings, let's see, I can drag example combat scene, example cutscene, example default scene, example load game manager. We actually want the game manager to be number 1. So we can just drag that up to the top. And then we want to go to the main menu and go to scenes, example character creator, example main menu, and that looks good. So now we have all of the scenes in here. So let's, I wonder if there's like, if I look in project settings, I don't suppose there's like an export. No, there's no export option here, because I was hoping that whatever that option that's not very well documented on their site was, that we would maybe be able to click a button somewhere and make it happen. But it looks like it's not that easy. I certainly don't see any export option there. Let's see. Oops, no, that's the same one. And I don't see any export option here. No, okay, and yeah, let's just go check the UMA global library first. Global library window. And it actually looks like there's a bunch of UMA stuff not in the build. It'd kind of be cool if, like the scenes, if this stuff actually included everything by default. So let's go, I don't know, rebuild from project. Wow, that list just got a whole lot smaller. I don't know if that was a good thing or not, but we'll see. So let's hit play and see if we get any more errors trying to load this. Wow, our loading bar was green. That was kind of crazy. Okay, so let's go play. And if I hit load game, okay, so this is a different project, so I have different settings, I guess. That's good. And let's start a new game. Okay, so this is something we're going to have to fix. Basically, input axis aim vertical is not set up. So in our project, we let's see where that code is. There might be some mouse aiming code in here. Yeah, okay, so there's some mouse aiming code that I am not using, but apparently I had in my project settings. So we will want to basically remove that, I guess. So let's do that. We'll want to remove it in the main other copy of Unity though, which appears to still maybe be frozen up in the background. Trying to export package dependencies. Wow, it's been doing that for like 10 minutes or more now, I think. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so I don't think that there's much that I can do about that. It still doesn't want to let me close it. And if I look at the task manager, let's see, like, is it doing anything? Yeah, it's kind of doing something. Once again, this seems like maybe it could multi-thread this operation and do it a little faster. Because it's, if I go to the performance tab here and hit my resource monitor and look at my CPU cores, you'll see one's like at 100%. Rest of them aren't doing a whole lot. There we go, finally. Okay, so let's close that down, and then we actually need to go fix that code, line 124 of player controller, but we need to do it in this project. So we're looking for the player controller in our AnyRPG directory. And Control A, K, F to fix the formatting. And then let's see, line 124. We need to basically take out all this stuff. So we'll go up to the top of the file and just remove those. marks showing up here, so that means we just need to comment those out. And let's see, collect aim input, we can just comment that out as well. And if we go down, there we go. Aiming isn't a thing yet, so I'll go through at some point and re-enable this, and then we'll figure out a way to export the input, like axis settings with this project. So now that we have that done, there's one more thing that I want to do before I go through and re-export this. So let's see, that's in the examples folder. I have resources, and let's see, we have in here some base abilities, animated attacks, unarmed. Alright, so there were some combos basically that I wanted to create. So when we look at the animator controller, the animation profile here, you can see we have left downward knee kick, left reverse punch, low side kicks, right hook, right reverse punch, right straight kicks. We don't have any of the combos. And we made some combo animations, so let's just go find those animations here. Where were they again? Right, they're in the huge mocap library. So I think the easiest thing to do is just going to be search for combo. Okay. So these are all of the combos that I had, and they have their events in them and stuff. So basically what we want to do is make special attacks out of those. So that was a 3-hit. That was a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 hit. Okay, so this was a 2-hit combo. And these were reverse punches, basically. We only need one reverse punch. I think that's the best one. So we need to make basically 4 combo animated abilities. So let's do that. So if we go down into our resources, base ability, animated attacks, unarmed, we have this left downward knee kick. So we'll make a couple copies of that. And we'll call this one the example punch. Let's see, example reverse punch combo. And then we want an example double jab punch combo. And then we will have an example triple punch combo and an example quadruple punch combo. Sure, why not? So then we can go to our double jab punch combo, and we'll call that example double jab punch combo. And do we have a sample punch icon? P-U-N-C-H, that's 5 letters, so let's see. We do, cool, awesome. So we got a sample punch icon. and then the animation clip, the double jab. So we'll just search for combo here, and it was our left right jab combo. And then change the ability icon to the punch icon, and melee hit special attack is fine. So then let's do the same thing for the quadruple punch combo. So example, quadruple punch combo, and change that to the punch icon. Change this one to the RRRL punch combo, and change that icon to the punch icon. And melee hit special attack is fine. So then we have the reverse punch combo. So we'll call that example reverse punch combo, and change that also to the punch icon, and then change the animation clip to the combo punch 3. That was the reverse punch. And then we want to change the sample punch icon there, and melee hit special attack is also fine. And finally the example triple punch combo. So triple punch combo, and then sample kick icon, we want that to be the punch icon, and then melee hit special attack. Okay, that's good. Right, except for that. We want that to be the combo, so this was the RLR 3 punch combo. And okay, 3 fast punches, a karate reverse punch, 4 fast punches, and 2 fast punches. Okay, and then to make things a little easier, in our example version of alpha, or I mean to make it alpha so that it's more like the regular one, what we need to do is go into our base abilities, and a lot of this stuff, let's see, direct, what do we want to do here? Attack, yeah. So let's see, pretty much all of these things here should no longer be auto-learned at level 1. So I'm going to uncheck auto-learn on all of them. And none of these ones should be auto-learned as well. And what was basically the only one we want to start off with is Speed of the Wolf. Nothing else here should be auto-learned either. Okay, good. So none of those are auto-learned. What we want to do also is we want to add these punches as rewards for one of the quests. I believe it was in case of emergency, I think. Yeah. So this is where we learn example Blessing of the Makers. We want to add the other punches to that. So let's see, the punches are in there. So we have the example double jab punch combo, and the example example triple punch combo. You know what, these are going to show up in our list as rewards, so we might as well just put the spaces in them so that they look like they're written in English. So example triple punch combo and example quadruple punch combo. Okay, awesome. So now this once again more closely resembles the actual quest flow from the alpha game. And example revive should also not be auto learn. Example revive AoE should not be auto learn. Okay, good. Alright, save that. And I actually want to go into the example load game manager and just make sure before we export this that we have a package that is going to play through a lot more like the alpha game. So when we start off, okay, what do we got here? Actually, that's pretty good. We have example speed of the wolf and regular speed of the wolf. This is in here basically just because I haven't excluded the alpha content from this. We won't see that happen in the exported version of this package, so that's good. Let's just play through this until the point where we actually get our abilities here. Okay, cool. Now we have some abilities. However, we also got a bunch of spells here. So let's just go take a look at lightning tether. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn off the auto learn on all the channeled spells as well. That's why. So that's fine. Oh, and I forgot to change the kick icon on triple punch. So let's go do that. Example triple punch combo. This should be a punch icon. Okay, good. And then use Blessing of the Makers, so that should be, this one's called stat. Good. We can turn that in. And now what I want to do is we're actually just going to go straight to the combat scene here. And let's see, somewhere we've got some enemies. Nothing has spawned yet except for over here. Yeah, actually that's good. Okay. Let's go over here and start punching these guys. So, double jab, whack whack, awesome. Reverse punch, punch punch, triple punch, and quadruple punch. Wow, that one really owns him. Wow, quadruple punch is so powerful. Yeah, awesome. Okay. And triple punch, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Double punch and double punch. Awesome. So I'm happy with that. let's exit out of here and let's start over again because we accidentally got a bunch of channeled spells when we leveled up. So we'll just save that because we made some changes to the prefabs while we were in the game, and press play again and we'll just go start a new game. So play new game. Okay, right, and example speed of the wolf. Okay, just complete all this stuff right here. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so now I have only the correct abilities. So I've got my 4 combos, and then like I have all my default auto attacks and stuff too. Good, so that's where I wanted to be as far as that testing goes. So then the one other thing that I noticed here was that we're changing the color like of the highlight lines, but we're not changing the color of the buttons. So if you go into the game right here, so you can see this is like the proper orange color here, but these outlines are white. So let's just go take a look at that. If we look in the example load game manager here, there's our default UI color and our default fill colors. So those are just not being applied to the highlight buttons, it looks like. So that main menu here, let's see, main menu panel. Okay, good. So these buttons right here are highlight buttons. Where are they? They may not actually be highlight buttons. Which would explain why they don't have any color being applied to them. Let's go look at something that is a highlight button in the game just to check if its color is being set. So press play, go to a new game, and something that's like almost definitely a highlight button is these. Yeah, so it looks like those aren't being set. Alright, so we'll go look at the character panel because that has the reputation buttons and such on it. And then okay, so this one, yeah, there we go, that's definitely a highlight button. The actual highlight button itself here is the one that has the button frame wide image on it, so that's the one that needs to be set. So what we want to do is go into the highlight button code here, and if we look at that, we've got the highlight button and the highlight image. So in the start method, we set the highlight image's color. And we'll need to do something similar basically with the highlight button. So let's see, what we can do here is just go if highlight button does not equal null, and we want the lowercase version of that, so we're not trying to grab the class. Then essentially what we want to do is basically get an image, tmp image, no, you know what, we'll call that highlight button image equals highlight button dot get component image, and then if highlight button image does not equal null, then basically this right here. So highlight button image dot color equals my default UI color. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to close down this other copy because that's confusing having that open. And then we can test that out. Okay, and so let's jump out of there and hit play, go back in to the example load game manager. Okay, that sort of looks like it's working. It's really hard to see right now, but at least like on my screen. But these buttons are properly kind of showing up as orange. It's like a really dark orange, but it's a proper orange. So that's good. I think one way that this could potentially be fixed is if we go into those buttons here, like this achievement button right here, or no, I think that's the wrong achievement button, character panel achievements button, there we go. These highlight colors right here, I think like we need to change them. No, maybe it's these colors right here. So you know what else, actually, let me just look at the system configuration manager here. Yeah, I think I see what's happening basically with the things here. This color right here, like we're setting it to the default UI color, and this is already transparent, and then we're overlaying more transparency on top of that, and that's multiplicative, which means it'll reduce this to even a lower fraction of what it is. So I think what we actually want to do here is maybe call this like default UI solid color, and we'll have this exact color without any transparency, and then we'll set the buttons to that color. So let's try that and see how that works. So going into the system configuration manager, we'll call this default UI solid color. And just to make a note, basically, this is pretty much the default UI color with full opacity for button frames, just so that we know what the difference is. And yeah, that's good. And then this, I think, would additional transparency applied to them. So that seems like an okay way to distinguish between those two things. And then we will have to go to quick actions and refactoring and make a property to refer to that. And now we have my default UI solid color. So then we'll let that refresh here. And we're going to copy that, paste it into here, set the opacity all the way up, and then we will want to apply that directly to the Game Manager prefab. And then let's see, where do we need to change that? We need to go back into the highlight button code, and instead of my default UI color, we'll choose my default UI solid color. So I think that's okay. Now let's go File Save to save the example Load Game Manager there. And then hit play. And then if I hit play, yeah, that's a lot better. Now we can actually see the color on these buttons. Because of the additional transparency being applied, we needed that that base color to not have any transparency. I mean, I suppose there is another way that I could have done it. I could have basically just like mangled the color and set its default color transparency to full. I may even do that in the future. But I actually like the idea of having lots of different colors, because if you look at this right here, you know, we've got like 3 colors there. I happen to like color swatches here, and I'll just see if I can find like an example of that. Design color profiles. Is this gonna, if we go to images here, yeah, there we go. So stuff like this, basically, where you just sort of choose like, this is my color scheme. You know, these are my highlight colors, my base colors, etc. And then have like customizable color profiles for this. I think that would be really cool. So let's just go back into the game and just take a look around and see like how much white stuff pretty much we have to find. So if we go to the settings menu here, yeah, you can see a couple of these buttons are actually like highlight buttons, very likely because wow, those new sliders look so cool. The partially transparent ones I made. I haven't actually looked at this yet. Okay, so it looks like video and key bindings aren't highlight buttons, return isn't a highlight button, but basically like all the buttons, I can just put highlight button code on them pretty much. The panel here, I think I'll have to check the colored panel because it looks like it's also sort of coming through as white. If we return here and we go to play and we go to new game, basically almost every button that's not a highlight button sort of needs to be. So then, okay, there we go. Yeah, now we've got orange buttons. I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix the borders here at some point. I think like I have to 9 slice them or something because I set the border to 10, but that like looks like a lot more than 10 pixels. You know what? There's a really easy way to figure that out. If I just hit print screen, and then I go ahead and open up my good old friend GIMP here. No thank you. Wow, Dropbox just started spamming me with stuff this morning. There must have been a version update where they added a bunch of new features. So if we can just go File, Create from selection, zoom in, and this is going to tell us where our pixel is. So we are at 776 down to 786. Wow, that actually is a 10 pixel border. Okay. Maybe I want the border to be 5 pixels or something. I'll have to figure out what to do with that at some point, I think. But for now, that's fine. Okay. So anyway, we're properly getting the color changing on the buttons, which is all I was really looking for. So what I want to do now is go into the prefabs directory in the engine, in the UI, and look for buttons. And essentially, any button that does not have, oh, you know what, not just any button, basically orange buttons. Okay, so let's see, accept buttons, a highlight button, achievement button doesn't need to be. Maybe it's going to be easier just to look through these. Yeah, I wonder if I type in the word frame in the buttons directory. No, okay, too bad. I don't get a list of things that include the word frame as part of their content. That would have been really cool if that actually worked, but no dice. So let's see, these are basically all highlight buttons. Okay, this isn't. So what we want to do is, let's see, these are the cancel cut and scene. There we go, actually btn underscore, that's really good. btn underscore in the current directory is going to give me all those yes and no buttons that I made prefabs out of last time. Some of them have highlight buttons on them, some of them do not, I guess. So what's going to be the easiest way to test this, I guess? Yeah, just add them one at a time, I suppose. So this is going to be a highlight button script on this thing. And we want to drag that up. We can actually remove the event triggers. Basically, these are all handled in code now. And the on-click methods, these are actually set. I want to be careful about removing those. Those are actually set inside the prefab. But okay, you know what? I don't want to just add a highlight button like that because we're getting the wrong color scheme there. So, wow. There we go. Okay, let's copy this component and let's see what happens if we paste the component values. I think that worked. So if I right click and go paste component as new, open that prefab, let's see, we need to set that to nothing because it's actually referring to something in a totally different button, basically. So set that to none. And then the highlight button should be itself. So we actually want to set that to none as well. Now we can copy this component and we'll get basically all the useful stuff. And then all we need to do is just set highlight button. These buttons don't have a highlight image. They do have text. Let's see what we use that reference to the text for. I don't know if we necessarily need to set it. Okay, I see here. The highlight button code is used for some of the options to auto-capitalize the text in like an on-off selection button. So we don't need to worry about that because these particular buttons are just click buttons. They're not selected, so we don't need to worry about actually making a reference to the text. So that's fine. So now if we go back to our prefabs directory here, and in the buttons directory we can once again search for btn underscore. So the highlight button on here is looking for play button new game. That's good. The highlight button here should be looking for play button load game itself. This text, let's just open up that prefab here and just make sure that its text is referring to itself. It doesn't look like it is. If we set this into 2D, we don't need to change the text, so honestly I think this should just be none. And that's only used for on-off buttons, basically. So then we can pop out of there. I guess we gotta research for btn underscore. And then if we look at the continue button down here, we reference ourselves, play button continue, that's good. Once again, I think the text is, no, interesting. Text appears to be referencing itself. Let's just confirm that, open up the prefab. There we go, okay, good. So this one's text does reference in itself, although once again it doesn't matter because that's only really used for on-off buttons. So back to here. Name change button yes is good. Name change button no, we want to remove that event trigger. Paste component as new and just reference the button. On this one, exact same thing, paste component as new, just referencing the button. Remove the unused event trigger. Paste component as new, reference the button. Remove the event trigger. Oops, right click, paste component as new, reference the button. Remove the event trigger, paste component as new, reference the button. Remove the event trigger. Paste component is new. Make a reference to the button. Do the same thing on this one. Remove the event triggers. Paste more components. Reference the button. And whoops, right click. Paste component is new. Reference the button. And same thing on this one. Paste component is new. Make a reference to the button so we can change the color. Okay, good. So death button, revive and respawn look like they're already the right ones. And then confirm new game button. Remove component. Paste component is new. Make a reference to the button. Same thing with the destroy button. And the other destroy button. Okay, and same thing with the delete button. And same thing with the other delete button. Okay, and with the character creator button. And the other character creator button. And the cancel cutscene buttons, same thing. Get the highlight buttons on there so we can change the colors. Pasting this one as new again. Dragging the button down there. Okay, good. So that is like a large number of our buttons. So let's test that out. Let's just go see if we can zoom in on anything or narrow anything that's not updated to the new buttons yet. There we go, found it right away. So these buttons on the main menu here. So we have our main menu buttons. Yeah, okay. Remove the event trigger. Paste component is new. Drag the button down there. Remove the event triggers from both of these. I don't know, can I paste component is new on both of them? Ooh, nice, alright. And go down to highlight button, change that, reference itself too. Okay, so I think we have the main menu buttons, right? Let's see, do we have the load game buttons are set? That's good. These ones are set. These ones are set. Okay, these ones. like skill trainer, script actually inherits from highlight buttons, so that's fine. Let's see. In-game main menu. Okay. So I think the in-game main menu star series buttons all need their event triggers removed, and then paste component is new, and then we'll just go through, set the button references up on those. Unfortunately, you can't like multi-select and just drag the files into here. Unity's not smart enough to realize that if you've highlighted these 5 buttons and tried to drag these prefabs into here, that you should just drag in the prefab that you're currently on. But that would be cool if it did, because that would save us a lot of time having to manually set this stuff. So that's good. The key bindings ones have those all set. Let's see, do we have, good, we've got highlight buttons on the exit. Oh yeah, of course, because these were the btn underscore ones. Same with those. And same with those. Okay, I think actually that's good. So let's go file save and hit play again, and just go through and test those buttons. Okay, awesome. So our main menu buttons are nice and yellow now. If I hit exit game, these ones are also yellow. Choose no, go to the settings menu. Okay, on our settings menu, video key bindings and return are still not yellow. So do we have settings menu buttons here? No, maybe not. Okay, so maybe I have to actually go to my main settings menu panel, and let's just see how this is set up there. So that's video button. Okay, we just don't have the highlight button set. It actually is a highlight button, but we just don't have it set. So that's fine. We can just do that real quick. And the sound one, I think, does have its button set. The controls one does. The key bindings needs to have its button set. And we have the return button. btn underscore return, we can remove the event trigger from that. Paste component as new, and then drag in the button so we have a reference to it. So that's good. And then the panels, I don't, let's see. Let's go take a look at the panels, because on the panels, we set an AnyRPG panel frame. We made a bunch of scripts called colored stuff, basically. We have colored fill, line detail, square, solid, UI element, corner detail, bottom left frame. I don't think we have a colored panel script. If we right click colored fill and choose select dependencies, okay, I know we actually use that somewhere, but this is Unity's great job of selecting dependencies. It needs like a backwards dependency select, because I think that's the problem there. So how can we find which which object we put that on. Right, now I remember colored fill is actually used in here. If we go to the main menu setting, there we go. Okay, so colored fill is used on these fill lines right here. So that's not what we want. So basically, let's I guess there's no way to get back to the there we go, UI. Okay. So what we want to do basically is we need to create a colored panel, I think. Yeah, because we've got those for everything else. So colored panel frame actually to keep the thing matched there. So let's see, colored line detail is about the closest thing that we have. Let's see, this is actually the bottom left corner wide. Yeah, they're all the same. So we will call this colored panel frame. So colored panel frame. I don't know why it keeps on popping Visual Studio open and not opening this thing, but okay. Colored panel frame is a colored UI element, so that's good. We're going to save that. And then basically, I think this is actually the only place in the game we actually use these panel frames. So let's see, panel UI, panel sound, control videos and key bindings. I think what can we do? If we type in panel frame, unfortunately, that would also be really cool if it gave us all the items that actually had references to anything else that used that, but it doesn't. So let's just add colored panel frame there. And now all the panel frames have a colored panel frame, which is going to grab their local image and set the color on it. So that should be good. Let's go File, Save, hit play, and see if our panel frames are the right color now. Okay, good. Everything is orange on here. If I hit exit game, everything's orange there. If I hit play and continue, is just going to do the same thing as new game, so we don't need to do that. Let's go to the load game menu. I still have to do something about these highlight lines here. Basically, they should all be black and turned off by default because they're not selected. And then when I highlight it, it should actually turn orange, not gray. So we still have those to deal with here. But let's see, if I click on one of these and click on delete, those all look good. Are you sure you want to delete this game? No. If I go to return and go into my settings menu, these are all properly orange now. This whole thing is properly orange. Click on controls, it all looks good. The highlight color, this might be gray. Kind of hard to tell. Either way, actually, it's not even really a big deal if it's gray. Everything else behind it is orange, so that's kind of neat. Go to the sound, looks good. Go to the video, everything is orange here, that's good. These highlight buttons properly change things, the color, so we didn't break anything there. And key bindings, okay, so the key bindings buttons in here that's like pretty much the only thing that I see that's not following the color scheme. So that's not bad. But yeah, all this stuff is properly orange, which is really good. So basically just the key bindings buttons, and then let's make a new game. Just go in and test. So that's good. This stuff is all orange. This stuff is all orange. And that's pretty much, I think, like the only orange stuff in the game. So if we go to the skill trainer here, yeah, these are all orange highlight buttons. We do, now they suddenly all turn gray. Interesting, okay. We do need to do something about that. But that's not bad. Okay. And this skill trainer window right here, like our skill button, still has a bit of an issue with it. Oh, hey, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat there. Hey, the Yuki. Okay, so we want to, let's see, what do we want to fix next? Let's go into the settings panel, and we will open that prefab up, and I need to look at the panel key bindings here. And we actually, there's not going to be anything in there right now, so do I have a key bindings button variant? Let's open that up. No, okay, so let's see, I have to figure out where we're referencing that. We probably have a reference to like a prefab somewhere. Panel key, there we go. Sleek keybind. Okay, so it's over here. There we go, btn assign, and yeah, that's our issue. So we're going to remove that and right click on that, paste component as new, awesome. And now we can put the highlight button in there, and now hopefully we'll have orange buttons on that screen. So let's just jump back into the settings menu here and confirm that our key bindings buttons are now orange. And so we can go into the key bindings menu. Awesome, they're orange now. Perfect. So we're getting really close. We're going to be able to make the ugliest UI we want in a little while. We can change it to like bright green or anything, hopefully. So the last thing I think that was missing was basically pretty much every highlight button should not be highlighted by default. So these are the character load game buttons. Let's open up that prefab. Yeah, okay. This is it right here. So let's see what we have to do here. The highlight line is enabled by default, and so let's go into the highlight button code. And take a look at it and see if we can figure out, okay, when we select and deselect, how are we doing that basically? So when we go to deselect right here, So we're setting the normal color to the base color, which is this color right here. And the base highlight color is also, these are like basically completely transparent. So that's good. Basically, what we want to do, I think, we can just run that deselect code on the start. Basically, let's try that. See if it works. No harm, right? Because basically highlight buttons should not be selected by default. And this might actually fix the problem with all highlight buttons having those colored lines behind them by default. So I think that's okay. Let's hit play and see what null reference exception where? Oh, that was odd. And it's gone now, of course, because I cleared it. Weird. I had a null reference exception somewhere in there. So going into the play menu here, and then okay, that's a little better. It looks like everything is black. And okay, we got an issue here. The issue is that Wizards R Us's button wasn't selected, and I think I actually know why that is. Basically, public void awake. What we want to do is, I think we want to do that a lot earlier, like in the awake method, not in the start method. Because I think what happens is we're actually selecting him, and then we're probably running the start and then deselecting him in that order, and that doesn't make sense. So let's try moving it to the awake method. If that doesn't work, we'll basically like write a little bit of code, and in the awake method we can check like, has this thing already been selected at least once, and if it has, then we're not going to bother to deselect it. So if we go to play, load game, ooh. Okay. That's a little bit unexpected. Yeah, okay, I see. So maybe this whole block here, because what we did is actually we just overwrote the color. I think we actually want to do something actually different than that. We're setting basically yeah, okay. What we actually want to do is we actually want to set the highlight color, not the highlight images color, because then when we, yeah, that's a little better. Okay, I think that will work. Let me try that. basically we don't want to set its color directly. We want to set it so that we're setting the color so that when we do select it, it's got the right color. Let's try that and see if that works. Play, load game. Okay, it's a little better. The good news is that we do get the proper highlight color when we select these now. We get the proper highlight color when we deselect them. But Wizards R Us had a highlight color of gray. And I think I know why that's happening. Same deal with the whole ordering thing. So I believe that may have happened somewhere else, like up there, or actually like after this awake method, but before the start method. So let's try this. And click play. Okay, we go to play, click on load game. Awesome. That is what we want to see. We want to see the entire menu black there with Wizards R Us highlighted properly in orange. When we select and unselect things, they're black, they're orange, rad. So that's working. Now let's jump into the game. And I remember the skill trainer icons used to suffer from the same issue, and because these are all highlight buttons, they now work exactly like we expect them to, with things basically highlighting properly. Cool. Wait, there was a learn button there. I missed that. Learn button. That needs to be a highlight button. Okay. So skill. Oh, yeah, silly. I actually have to reference the button. And I have to reference the image. And actually, you know what? Let's just paste component values to get the proper highlight colors here. And then do that again. Highlight image, highlight button. And I'm going to do the exact same thing there. Paste the component values because we're missing the highlight image and the highlight button. Okay, and those all look okay. Actually, what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to take another look through this buttons thing, because basically like that old blue color is not desirable. So I just want to go through and make sure that none of our highlight button, oh, there's one. We don't want the blue anymore. So let's open up this character creator appearance button, paste component values, and then just fix those. And where was that? That was over here. So then just keep on going through all these. Well, we've actually got a bunch of blue ones here. So let's open that up. Paste component values. Reset the buttons and highlight lines. Character creator colors, character creator eyes, exact same thing. Paste component values. Reset the buttons and highlight lines. Character creator hair. Same deal. Paste component values. Reset the buttons and highlight lines on that. Character creator skin. Paste component values. Reset the buttons and highlight those. Some of these have slightly different values. You'll see like these ones. Basically, that's okay. Those are sort of like that intentionally. It's only the blue ones that we really care about, because the blue was like one of the original highlight colors I was using. What am I doing here? Right, button reference and highlight line reference. So anything that's not blue is okay. Anything that is blue, we just want to go through it and change it, because they also... Oh, interesting. Okay. On-off text button has a highlighter color of blue, and it's not inheriting. I may actually not even be using this. I think this may be like an old one. I think I may be using like a different on-off button now. The abandon button, we do need to fix that though. Paste component values in there, put in that stuff there, and I don't remember where I was on this list here, so we'll just start from the bottom. Fender button. Okay, interesting, right? But those aren't, we don't care about those because those aren't highlight buttons specifically. Okay, good. So I think that's pretty much our entire buttons list. We have a few in here, but I don't think those suffer from any issues. We don't use event triggers anywhere. I replaced all that. It's all done in the code now. Okay, so let's save everything and click play. And if we're lucky, all of the learn and unlearn buttons are, yeah, good, yellow. We actually technically don't really have the ability to unlearn stuff, but that's okay. Ability book. Where's my skill book? Right, skills, there. Interesting, okay. The not highlighted color on those is still gray. Okay, so we might have to change that a little bit. If I go over to the crafting prefabs, let's just go take a look here. Woodworking, that's good. It's not going to let me use those, but I can assume that because I see orange here that the buttons are okay. Let's go over to the cooking cauldron. Yeah, that looks good. Right, so this particular window we still have a small issue with here, and that's that the icons are overwriting that. So this is the interaction panel, so let's go take a look at that. And let's look at the we'll look at the interaction panel. Click on the scene view. So it's the interaction panel option basically that we care about. So let's see if we can figure out why things are getting overwritten. Child alignment. You know, it's going to be probably easier. Let's actually just load the game here, and I'll go and look at what's happening with the interaction panel in the actual game. Okay, so if I go to the skill tree, no, you know what? Let's go to one that's got multiples. Oh, of course, I have to learn the skills before they're going to have multiples. Right, so learn all the skills. Okay, that's good. And then we can go over to this and we get multiple interactions. Perfect. So, like, this looks to me like a centering issue or something, or the window's too narrow. So let's pause this. Pop the scene view into 2D so we can see our UI. Highlight the interaction panel options. Hit F to focus. Okay, this is our problem right here. If we look at the available area is big enough, but this guy right here has a width of only 15. His layout element was like disabled, which is kind of interesting. And even more interesting, all of them fix themselves right, probably because when I put his layout element on, very likely he's now wide enough that they all have room to expand out. So I might have accidentally disabled this at some point, like just entirely by accident. So let's go into the interaction panel option and open the prefab up there and just click the layout element and see if that fixes things. And let's try loading the game again. So load game. No, actually, new game's fine. Learn all those things, run back over to the crafting table. Okay. So, no dice. We've still got the layout issue error here. I think this is one of those, like, fighting with the Unity UI thing. Because the silly thing, of course, last time is when we enabled the layout element, all of a sudden it was wide enough and it just magically started working, right? So, let's see, what else can we do about that? There's lots of times when the Unity UI is really not very logical in how it acts. So what we want to do is, if we look at our content size fitter here, we've got preferred size and preferred size, right? And if we go inside here, we can look at our image and we can actually see that it indeed has a preferred size and a preferred size. So strangely enough, this should mean that that the element above it, this guy right here, should have like a minimum width of 32, because you know, we've got the preferred size set and the preferred size is set on those guys right here. Similarly, this guy has a preferred size, setting his width to 208, but somehow this guy doesn't. So if we check child control size width, maybe that'll work. I feel like there was a reason why I didn't have that checked in the first place. Like, because I went through and I did a lot of testing with this and had it working, but when I went and make the example prefabs, for some reason a bunch of stuff just got all wonky. I didn't make any changes to it at all, but all of a sudden it just stopped working or started displaying all wacky. And that's the fun sort of the Unity UI, is that it randomly just displays differently like that. So let's go back in to the interaction panel option here, and I'll just check that control child size box, and let's then go and press play. Go to play, new game, yes. Okay, number 1, go in here, learn all the skills, go over here. It looks like it's working now. Okay. Well, yeah, all right. I think that's okay. Now, the last thing that was a little bit off here was this character panel. These particular buttons here don't need this gray background. So if we look at the character panel buttons, let's just open that prefab up. Basically, we just don't need that highlight line. So I think what I can do is just open up these prefabs one at a time. Character panel skills button, open that up, just disable the highlight. Right, that was all the buttons, I think, right? Open that prefab, that's disabled. Currency, there. Reputation, disabled, and skills disabled. Okay, so let's jump back into the game here and just see if those highlight images are no longer there. So play, new game, yes, and good. That's a little better. Now something is different between the achievements colors and the rest of the colors. So let's see if we can figure out what that is. So if we look at the buttons, where are we here? In these two button bars. So what is the difference? The difference is the colors. Okay. So basically, these colors that the achievement button has, those should be the same colors for the rest of the buttons there, because this one has a slightly different color scheme than all the others. So let's take the achievements button. We will copy the highlight color, paste it into the other buttons, grab the base color, paste that one into the other buttons. Grab the base highlight color, paste that one into the other buttons. Okay, good. So now all of their colors are the same. We will apply all of those to their prefabs because each of these buttons are not like prefab variants. They're actually, oh, and look at that. Use highlight color on button. That's another difference there with the achievement ones. So we will apply all those. Alright, good. And then let's jump off of that and then just see how that looks. So play, new game, yes. Okay, character panel. Okay, I think that's good. They're like lighter orange and darker orange. Let's just try that one more time. Press play, new game, open up the panel. Yeah, okay, good. So they're all darker orange. We highlight them, they're all lighter orange, back to darker orange. Perfect. So there's one more thing that I noticed here. The loading screen isn't showing the loading text when it's loading. So I think we've got a load game panel here. No. Right. The loading screen's actually down here in the non-interactable UI. Loading canvas, loading bar, loading text, and finished loading text. I wonder, maybe this is in the UI manager. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we've got this loading screen stuff here. I think we actually want the loading text to be active by default. I think it's supposed to be active all the time. And then if we go into the UI manager here, then we want to set the finished loading text, which we can't do. Okay, let's open up the example game manager prefab, and then we can look at the UI manager in here. Finish loading text, none. Okay, let's see why we can't do that. Oh, it's TextMess Pro text, that's why. We just want this to be regular text. Text. There we go. That's better. So let's try that. Let that compile. Scroll down. Okay, good. And now we can take the finished loading text. Okay, good. That's better. And we can pull it in there. It now applies to the game manager. Let's just make sure we've got the right values here. Yeah, good. It applied properly. And we're just going to save that. And then let's press play again and see if our loading bar, no, the loading text was still not active. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm gonna have to pause the game while the loading screen is actually running. Apparently you can't pause it while the loading screen is running, no matter how fast you click. Let's go play new game. No, okay. Let's try to restart that, and maybe I'm gonna have to use the keyboard to do like Control Shift P. So play, Control Shift P. No, apparently not. Okay. There's like a serious amount of lag on that. If we go play new game, Control Shift. No, no. Okay. Wow. It really doesn't like to try to pause the game while it's loading stuff. Let's try going to this other scene over here. Right, we can't go there yet. Oh, no, that was too quick. Let's try this one, maybe it'll work. And pause. Yeah. No, okay. Well, apparently it's like completely impossible to pause the game while it's loading something. So let's see, if I turn on the loading canvas here and hit F, I see loading text. There it is, right there, plain as day. So yeah, what's going on and why is it not displaying? That's definitely the mystery of the day. So let's, I don't know, go back up here and look at the level manager. Yeah, no idea. I don't really know how to test that, because apparently like it's impossible to pause the thing in the middle and try to figure out what's going on. See, that loading text is just like, it's just not there, period. Okay, well, we're in the game. We've got the scene open. Let's just... Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? So, what's the deal with the loading canvas being so skinny? Okay. Weird. Now, where's the loading text? There's the loading text. And... Okay. Well, that's rather odd. So our loading text is active according to this. But it's also completely invisible for no apparent reason. Vertical overflow truncate. Let's just set the two overflows there, just out of curiosity. Aha! What do you know? So it's not no apparent reason. Okay, now we know why the loading text wasn't showing. the overflows weren't set. And wow, that looks a lot clearer now. It looked like really fuzzy when I was editing it before. So if we go back into the game manager here and we look at the loading text, and we're just gonna set those both to overflow. Let's turn the loading canvas back on because okay. See, this is so odd, right? Like, this looks way unclear when I zoom in and look at it on the 2D view here. Totally unclear. It looks like terrible. Right? But when we get into the game and we zoom in that far, it looks awesome. Not really sure why. Anyway, let's jump back into the game. File save, and who knows? Let's try to jump back in. Okay, well, yeah, that loading text looks great. So who knows why it looks all fuzzy zoomed in like that in the scene view, but like it renders better in game, so that's cool. Play, new game, yes, good, loading, awesome. Okay, so I think that's like everything. Do we have like any more issues at all with our buttons or our prefabs or our animations? I honestly don't think so. I think this is now a very good copy of alpha. So I think it's time for another export test. Now, getting the thing exported with the scenes that are in the build settings. I think I'm going to leave that till the next episode, the fix for that. I'm going to have to go research that offline and figure out, like, do some deep Googling, because just some light Googling on that came up with basically nothing useful at all on how or where I'm supposed to use this so that I can get the scenes exported. Nor is there anything like particularly useful in here. Nor is there anything useful in this thread. Yeah, that's like the last reference to that. Enable invisible meta files in the editor settings. Delete the library and save as a zip file. I feel like I don't want to do that because what I'm trying to do is export a Unity setting. Let's look at the scenes in build here. There's nothing here that indicates to me whether or not the scenes in build are going to be part of an export at all. So that's kind of useless too. No idea. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to export it as it is. So to export the Unity package, we go into here, hold down Control, select Engine and Example, right click, select Dependencies. And this is going to take a little while. this is going to take a long while. Okay, good. Now we want to go up to the assets directory, control click, select UMA, 1751 objects. Good. Export package. I think this is also going to take a little while. We're going to want to uncheck include dependencies. Just check animations, props, looks good. UMA looks good, engine, examples looks good, standard assets, UMA also all looks good. And this is where, note to Unity devs if you're watching this video, that thing that I showed earlier, that would be great if I could like have a checkbox right here that says like include build settings. That would be totally pro. But it doesn't exist, so please put it there. Alright, anyway, overwrite our existing Unity package. And let's see, this I think also is going to take a little while. Still waiting. Okay, good. Now we're getting somewhere. Compressing package. Weird. Okay. YouTube is complaining that my stream's current audio rate 0 is lower than the recommended bit rate. But if I don't see anything in Streamlabs that says my audio is 0 bit rate. Maybe like if you stop talking for too long, it just assumes there's no audio coming through or something. Alright, still waiting for compressing package here. Okay, awesome. And it looks like our package is done. So let's go test the import. So we've got this project here, and this is where we had the issues. So I'm interested to see, like, if I just go, what was it, assets, import, custom package, and grab the new package and hit open. I wonder if it'll recognize like just the stuff that needs to be updated or not. Because last time I think it took like 10 minutes to import this thing while Unity like compiled everything. So let's see how long it takes to import this time. Hopefully it's quicker. Hopefully it doesn't have to go through and like, I don't know what it does exactly when it imports, but it takes a long time generally. like a really long time. What's happening here? Okay, there we go. All right. So basically it's recognizing that we all have this stuff and none of it changed. That's good, because none of it changed. Okay, interestingly enough, it wants to re-import that stuff. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it wants to re-import a bunch of this stuff. What I'm really concerned about, though, is the scripts. Yeah, not bad. Okay, I think it's going to import just the changed stuff. So let's try that. Import. And okay, now this is where I wonder. Okay, I think it's just doing the changes. Yeah, let's reload that. Okay, good. So let's clear our error log here. And then if I go back into UMA and just check my global library, see, I don't understand what it means not in build, but like it looks like it has everything. I'm just gonna play like that and see if we run into any issues. If we do, I can always try rebuilding my global library. It will be fairly obvious, because basically I think what'll happen is like our armor. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like I said, it'll be fairly obvious. So let's try going back into the global library window and just choose rebuild from project. And hopefully that works. Let's click on play and start a new game. Okay. I don't know. Like I think I've checked this box here that says include text access at text assets before. Let's try that. Yeah, see, like I think it basically just includes like all your C# scripts and stuff. Yeah, all this stuff that really has nothing to do with UMA. What happens if I tell it to remove invalid items? Nothing. Okay. Okay. I think I think if I right click on these, I swear there was like an UMA like add, yeah, okay, add selected assets to global UMA library. 0 assets, okay. Standard assets, add selected assets, 0 assets, okay. AnyRPG, add selected assets, 0 assets, okay. Male challenger shoulder pads. See, they're there, definitely. But the D slot library is unable to find them. let's see what can we do about that. So if we look at male challenger shoulder pads, that's a PNG file right there. So what's really kind of messed up about this is that like we included the entire. Oh, you know what? Okay, I think I see what happened here. If I look at content and I go used external content and I look at UMA and I look at the challenger, that directory has a lot more stuff in it. A lot more stuff, including the slot. Yeah, I understand. So basically what happened is Unity attempted to find references and somehow didn't find them. The slot was definitely required, as we saw from the other thing crashing, but it didn't get included. So honestly, I think the best thing to do is going to be to not have this UMA folder in the used external content. I think we want this UMA folder directly in the examples folder. But see, the reason that we have this stuff in the UMA folder out here, there's actually a really good reason for it. There's a good reason that it's not just pulled from this UMA folder. This stuff like the werewolf overlays, which I'm not using yet, but also this challenger stuff right here, this stuff is pretty much it's included in the UMA package in such a way that you can't add it to the global library by default, because it's included in, I can't remember what they call them exactly, but like some sort of like downloadable asset package. And the only way to actually get them to show up in your UMA global library is to literally pull them all out completely out of the UMA directory, and then just pull them into directories that you own. I tried all sorts of directory mangling inside of the UMA directory, and I just couldn't get them to appear in the global library no matter what I did. I think there's like some hidden meta files or something, or like maybe just certain directory names are automatically recognized by UMA or Unity. So whatever the case is, it would be kind of a pain every time we go and build to have to actually go into this used external content folder and directly reference these UMA things right here, like just to pull in this whole thing. So I definitely want to stick that in the examples, and I think what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to create a folder here just to be consistent. I'm going to call it used external content, and I'm going to pull all the UMA stuff just directly in there. Actually, you know what? See, this UMA stuff isn't really... The UMA stuff isn't really examples. Like, honestly, this is actually kind of core to the entire game. I think this actually might go in the engine folder. Yeah, I think actually that's a better idea. I think it's going to go in the engine folder. I guess there really isn't a better way for me to do this. Yeah, for now, we'll just stick it in the engine folder. I may come up with a better spot for it later, but that'll at least ensure that it gets exported with our package properly. So back to square one. Engine and example, right click, select dependencies, and then we're going to go through this whole export process again. And hopefully this time we'll have everything that we need so that our package loads properly when we import it. So as always, takes a while. Okay, good. So then we want to go into the assets directory, very carefully control click on UMA, 2195, 2196 objects. Wow, there's a lot more stuff in there now. Okay, and now we want to click on export package and then wait for it to make its list of stuff here. Then as soon as this comes up, we're going to uncheck select dependencies and just make sure that once again bamboo fishing rod pig model looks okay. I'll probably move these into like a redistributable directory so that I just have to look at the sort of top level to confirm in the future. But this all looks okay, examples looks okay, standard assets, and the entire UMA folder as usual, so that's good. We're going to export this again, hit save, tell it yeah, we're going to overwrite, and then wait for it to do its thing. Now, what would actually be maybe a little bit nice right here is basically it just sort of like freezes on this whole gathering files thing until it's ready to compress them, and it doesn't actually show you the progress of the files. And this is sort of inconsistent behavior. In addition, I can't move this window. I'm clicking and I'm trying to drag right now, and it's like the UI is just completely frozen up. So this is like another note to Unity devs. It would be kind of great if you could move windows around while things are happening, because otherwise like it just gives you the impression that your entire program is just frozen and unresponsive. In addition, gathering files, it would also be maybe nice if it actually showed you which files it was gathering so that you knew that it was doing something, because it just sort of like hangs there, 5% or whatever, and then just jumps like straight to 50. But clearly, there's actually stuff happening in the middle there that it's not showing us. Just notes on friendly user interface software design. My 2 cents there. So we'll just wait for it to compress the package here. Once again, what would also be kind of nice right here is maybe an indication of like what percentage we're actually done compressing the package, because it's going to jump from 50 to 100. If you want to see a really good example of user interface design and how that should actually work in reality, let's see. If I go to preview one right here and I right click on this folder and I choose 7-zip and I choose add to this, see how we've got a total size, the speed, the process, the compressed size, as well as like an actual graph. This would be a great thing if the Unity devs could sort of learn from this 7-zip interface. It's kind of the obvious way to do things when you're compressing things, to at least like let your users know that something's happening. So anyway, looks like we have our artifact now. It's considerably bigger. It's about right, 500 megs. So then let's go back over into our sample project, and once again we're going to try to import that package. So import custom package, Unity package, hit open, let it go ahead and decompress. still waiting for that. Okay, good. And if we look down, wow. Yeah, there we go. Whole pile of new stuff there. So that's all the werewolf and other stuff that we missed. And yeah, we got some of these things are going to be refreshed. So, okay, sure. Import all that. Okay, still, okay, there we go. So now it's all imported, I guess. We're still in the example load game manager, so that's fine. We still have everything in the build settings. I'm interested if I go to the UMA global library window. Global library window there. 213 not in build. The weird thing is, like, you would expect it says 213 not in build. Like, when you add that, I would expect this to have 213 more items in it, but I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to work. Let's hit play here, and I'm just curious to see if I go to play and new game and hit yes, do I get a bunch of UMA errors? No, okay, good. So that's good news. You can see that the other Speed of the Wolf is not in there because it wasn't included in the build. Wow. Wow. I think this is the first build I've actually managed to successfully get to run. The buttons are good. Okay, let's see, complete. Okay, I missed one button. There was like, yeah, okay. This quest log window, not a tremendously huge deal, but I do need to fix that up real quickly. So let's go back into the other copy of Unity. This was either the quest log panel or let's see, it was either the quest log panel or the quest giver panel. So if we look, we just have abandon and track. So then, yeah, that was definitely the quest giver panel. So we can go into the quest giver panel and look at our action buttons. There we go. Okay, so okay, I see the issue here. Basically, this is a highlight button, and it's just simply not referencing the button element. So we just want to put that button element in there. Put the highlight image in there, make sure it's disabled because we're not actually going to use it, but might as well keep a reference to it. Then pop the other highlight button image into there, pop the highlight image into there. That looks good. So next time I do a package export, then we'll have those buttons fixed, hopefully. But let's just keep playing through here. And Bodymatic 2000. Okay, so these should also be yellow. That's not too huge of a deal though. I seem to recall, actually, I don't have button elements on these, so like I'll probably go through and fix those at some point. But that's all good, and if I hit complete on this quest here, I got all my abilities. Let's just go over to the skill trainer here, learn all our skills. Learn, good. And we can go over this table here, everything shows up well. Okay, I want to do something kind of neat here. I want to mess this whole game up. So we have our example load game manager here, and we're in our AnyRPG import test. I think it's time to really put this feature through its paces. We are going to make the ugliest interface we can possibly imagine, and then just go in and test. Does it work? Loading bar was yellow, so I think I have to fix maybe the loading bar, but actually that's not bad, it's green. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, new game. Everything's green except the loading bar. If I go into here, the buttons are all green. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So let's go out and let's just try that one more time. We're going to do a red version of our UI. Press play. Rad. Oh, my buttons are red. Everything's red. The fill is red. The icons are red. Yeah. Very, very cool. Okay, we have like a fully color customizable UI. It's working. I gotta fix the loading bar, but that's not a huge deal. And I also have to go, oh yeah, all these buttons are red. If I go over and use this, I don't think it's gonna work yet because I haven't met the prerequisites, but I'm pretty happy with that. Our Unity package imports, we can play it. There are a few issues, but those issues are no longer with the Unity package itself. Those issues are just with a couple elements inside it that I need to fix. So I think I'm quite happy with that. That's what I wanted to accomplish for this episode. So in the next episode, I will probably go through, just fix a couple little things and do like a final example playthrough of the thing. And once I succeed at that example playthrough in the imported version of this in a second Unity project, then we'll basically know that this thing's ready to upload to the Unity Asset Store. So thanks for tuning in. As always, if you like this type of content and you want to see more of it in the future, like the videos, leave a comment, or subscribe to the Cohesion YouTube channel. Those are all great ways of letting me know. Take care, and I'll see you soon.